Welcome, everyone, to the Go Mode Podcast Overworld Glitches Mentor Tournament 2020. My name is HxCJedders, and I am joined by Lance. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well. I am Lance the Ugly Androgyne. Pleasure to be here, but just Lance is fine. I gotta admit, this is my first time doing this, but I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I am not very familiar at all with Overworld Glitches, so we're all going to learn together today.
Yep, don't worry, I got you covered there. I can help explain some of the weird stuff that's going to be going on screen here. We're going to see a lot of stuff that isn't common to your no glitches logic for sure. They're going to be jumping off of mountains, leaping over cliffs. There's going to be a lot of crazy stuff going on, but it's all very exciting. So with your experience with Overworld Glitches, is there anything that in particular that you're wanting to see? I know that this is all new to you, but if you've seen some stuff, what are you looking forward to seeing out of our runners today?
I'm looking forward to seeing how the whole picture comes together, because you hear about this glitch here, this glitch there. But seeing how everything comes together in the full picture, from the opening to mid game to how you are finally realize that you're in go mode and you go.
All right, well, we're getting a quick map check from Cinaeth. Looks like we had a pendant on Eastern. Also, this week we are starting with a sword in our pocket. So that's going to be an added little bonus for our runners here. So that's going to help a lot with buffering some of the teleports that they'll be doing. And once we see them doing one of those teleports, I'll help explain what's going on there. But yeah, sword spins do help buffer that.
So, what do you keep in mind when opening it? Because I see we have a Sanctuary start and an Uncle start on different sides of the screen. Is there different decisions that you make for that versus a regular seed?
So, we got Kane in the Bonk Rocks there. So when you're starting opening routes, now these runners are still learning Overworld Glitches, as this is the Mentor Tournament. So we may see a bit more of a no glitches start from people, at least for the first week, till they really get, an understanding of more glitches. But a lot of, a common start in Overworld Glitches is starting by checking the Lake Hylia Island and Hobo, because those are very easy to access from Link's house using a teleport clip. So, and then another check that normally gets done is Sahasrah's Closet. And then from there, some people go to Kakariko, or some people may opt to go straight up to the mountain. And yes, the mountain is in logic from square one.
Yes, I've heard that the Overworld Glitches Sphere 1 is very large.
Yes, there's pretty much most everything in the light world, with some small exceptions, will basically just be in logic from the start.
Gotcha.
Exceptions such as, Lumberjack Tree. Obviously, you're going to need to kill Aga with that one. But most everything you can see it will be in logic.
And find a way to break into that tree, huh?
Yeah. So far, that has eluded us without doing some crazier glitches. But it does look like Cinaeth is going to do a teleport, or try to do a teleport here,
yeah.
Actually, no. This is an alternate way to get up to Death Mountain. So they're gonna just walk on up, and you see them clip up onto the ledge there and wrap around the screen here, doing some jumps, and they kind of messed that one up, but that's okay. that's part of the learning process. But they were looking to go transition right, so that they could get onto Death Mountain there. So that's what they were intending to do, was get up onto Death Mountain.
Try again.
Meanwhile, Neeekolaz is going into the castle here, making use of that early sword after checking Uncle. Just to try to get some easy items. And that's one thing that you have to keep in mind. It's easy to just, use everything in your tool belt just because you can do it. But as far as, routing goes, there's nothing wrong with doing a no glitches start, and just doing what you're most familiar with, because you could spend a lot of time doing glitches, or you can just get yourself moving and do glitches whenever you feel it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah, and also there's always the choice of consistency versus like this one clip may be super effective here, but like it may actually be faster just do it the normal way, if depending on how your consistency with it is.
Yeah. And so Cinaeth used the clip to get up onto into the Death Mountain Ascent Cave, and right there they just clipped down using a spin speed clip to get down into Graveyard Ledge. This is one of those early checks you can do. Doesn't require a mirror this time.
We have a goose trying to climb a mountain over on Neeekolaz's side.
It looks like Neeekolaz is trying to set up for the same clip that Cinaeth did, or perhaps doing the version that'll just get you straight up onto the mountain there. Meanwhile, Cinaeth is going to set up here for a hula hand, it looks like, and did get it. So from here, we'll see where Cinaeth goes. And meanwhile, we've got Neeekolaz doing that clip and trying to get in to that DMA cave there.
Overworld Glitches is probably the only run where it takes you 5 minutes to get the item out of Link's house.
So you see these runners doing some clips, and it's not immediately apparent what's going on here. So a little bit of explanation. Spin speed, which most people that are familiar with the racing scene, you'll have seen spin speed before. It's fairly simple. Just basically tap A right after you release a sword spin, and you'll arm spin speed. And whenever you touch a stair, you'll move very fast. However, there is another use for it in Overworld Glitches, and that will get you into angled walls, like the corner of angled walls. So, funny enough, it just you don't have to do anything extra other than activate that spin speed, and you could just walk right through the wall.
Nice. Looks like we got a lamp in Sahashala's closet. Which might be, I'm sorry, is Neeekolaz doing back of escape here?
This would be the Death Mountain Ascent. Neeekolaz did get the clip the second time around.
Gotcha.
So we'll be doing that. And it looks like Cinaeth decided not to follow up anything on the mountain, just got that old man saved and then jumped down to Graveyard Ledge. So we'll see if Neeekolaz does explore the mountain a bit more, because you can get to Paradox Cave quite easily, as well as the island in the sky. And it does look like Neeekolaz is going into Hera. So again, using one of those spin speed clips to just walk straight off the edge there and screen wrapped around. So what Neeeekolaz is doing here is setting up for a teleport. And now when you tap A and a direction on angled walls like this, it will start to clip you into the wall. If you tap A and a direct, like left or right at the same time, depending on which way you're going. And if you get a certain amount of pixels into the wall, you can do either an up or a down teleport. And the only real difference is a down teleport is 1 pixel farther into the wall than an up teleport. And a teleport literally, is what it sounds like. It teleports you up or down in a direction.
I see. Looks like we've got our first bottle with some green goo in the well. And Neeeekolaz found some literacy on top of Spectacle Rock. So now we have a goose that can read. Sounds terrifying. And another bottle from Sick Kid. That's an entertaining chain.
A bottle for a bottle.
Yep. So now that we've got potions in the mix, does that open anything up for Cinaeth?
It does not open anything up necessarily. You, in theory, could use blue potions to do some stuff in the Dark World, but I don't expect to see anything like that out of our runners, as it would be far out of logic. If you get a blue potion, you are allowed to YBA in the Overworld to basically use that as a flute, and which is why you may never see anybody activate the flute sometimes. Because as long as you have a bottle and money, you have a flute.
Ah, yes, melted flute.
Yeah.
Goes down easy. And I see he jumped from race game down to Desert Palace here on the left.
Yep. And using an up teleport to get down there. Now, you'll be seeing a lot of spin speed clips and teleports. That is kind of the bread and butter of Overworld Glitches. Any sloped wall, really, you can teleport on. Now, sometimes if you don't do it in the right spot, you will get stuck in terrain. But, there are a lot of places that are valid locations to teleport up or down to help you get around the overworld. And like I said, we're jumping over cliffs, so if there's any Assassin's Creed fans out there, we're doing a lot of parkour here.
Ah, so Breath of the Wild isn't the first Zelda game with mountain climbing in it.
That is correct.
And we had a big key on the torch, so that means our glitchy boots were useful for more than just glitchiness. So far, lots of pieces of heart. Since Overworld Glitches being Overworld Glitches, the interior here doesn't look any different from what I'm used to.
Yeah, for the most part, your interior dungeon crawling is going to be the same. The only real difference from Overworld Glitches in that respect is that Dungeon Bunny Revival is in logic, as opposed to being out of logic in No Glitches. So it is very possible that if we get the mirror, that we'll have to jump down off the mountain as a bunny, go to Skull Woods and get a moon pearl.
Dungeon Bunny Revival, where you find something to get yourself killed on inside the dungeon. You come back and you're Link because the game doesn't understand. Wait, you just died in a dungeon as a bunny? It does not compute. You're not supposed to be able to do that. So it brings you back as Link because it's not prepared.
And Cinaeth using a spin speed clip to quickly get up onto that ledge and finding a moon pearl in cave 45. So that's a common opening route that pretty much Cinaeth finished there. You go to CAC, you go down to desert, and then you will end end that route pretty much at cave 45. From here, a lot of people may save and quit and just go somewhere else. And that looks like what Cinaeth is going to do. Nicholas getting that race game item, but getting a little stuck on the terrain, so had to save and quit out. Now, there is a danger to doing some of these clips, which we may see happen in this race, or we may not. But, so when you're jumping around, doing all these clips, sometimes you wrap the screen, and if you hit a transition while you're screen wrapped, that will hard lock your game. It will infinitely scroll the screen, which looks kind of funny, but is pretty bad because you have to hard reset.
And I see we just had a goose doing some sliding around the overworld here.
Yep. So what Nicholas did there was what we like to call the funny auto walk thing. So basically, it is what it looks like. You're just kind of auto walking downwards, and that happens in a few locations. There's one that can accidentally happen when you're trying to do the clip down from the mountain to Graveyard Ledge, and then there is one where you're trying to go down to the Witch, and you're just basically auto walking. Oh, and when you're doing a Death Mountain descent, the standard way. So, but yeah, you basically lose control of your character, and it brings you somewhere, and then you stop. So
we got some more kicking up dust over here from Neeeekolaz. The bridge to nowhere.
Yeah, that sign in the light world there has the Overworld Glitch tournament winners on it. Only accessible by using Overworld Glitches, so that's a little bit of an Easter egg there.
So I've understood that there's been some discussion about the exact positioning of that sign that's been getting in some people's way.
I haven't seen discussion of that. But yeah, I do know that sometimes if you're dashing across, that can get in the way. But yeah, I'm not sure as to what that discussion is referring to.
And we got a dead rock, unfortunately claiming Neeeekolaz over there. They come for us all. Just some arrows from the hobo. Nice of him to share, but not terrifically useful.
Yeah, so I know I'm rambling on a lot about glitches, but it's important that we get our audience informed as to what's going on here.
Absolutely.
We're seeing a lot of stuff happening, and it looks like Nicholas is going back to Hera now. That when you see the runners going to Hera a lot, you're going to see that a lot, and they're using that to correct their camera. So when you're screen wrapped, if you go into a dungeon or a cave that has more than one exit, it will correct your camera. But if you go, say, into Spike Cave that only has one entrance and exit, it will not correct your camera.
We got the some conventional water walking and fake flippering going on over with Cinaeth. With the whole, when you have the moon pearl, you can swim in the ground, which is perfectly normal, not weird at all. And Cinaeth already has 2 of the 3 medallions, so so he certainly has some options when it comes, if we're going to be getting into Mire or Turtle Rock the conventional way, which I doubt, but you know, they're there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Misery Mire will require a medallion. There is no overworld glitch that can get us in without that medallion, so we will have to, if it is a crystal, we will definitely have to have that medallion. But Neeeekolaz picking up a glove. Interestingly enough, it is possible to finish the game without a glove if Ice Palace is a pendant. Ice Palace is the only thing in the game that hard requires a glove. There are ways to get around it. Every glove requirement except for that one.
Just to clarify, do you mean the mitts, the second glove?
No, I mean glove.
Oh, okay. Any lifting power at all?
Yep.
I see.
So there goes another funny auto walk thing down to the witch from Neeeekolaz's side. And it looks like Neeeekolaz is setting up for a clip here to probably Eastern. Can use this to bypass that rock there to get around, but Neeeekolaz has gloves, so won't need to use that. But it looks like, yeah, they're probably going to Eastern Palace here.
Unfortunately, we've got a big key to Hera in the cage, so we don't have to go down to the basement to get it. That always takes forever.
And Cinaeth looks like we'll be clearing out Hera. So it's going to be interesting to see when these when Cinaeth wants to go to the Dark World, because once you get the Moon Pearl, that's pretty much all you need for Dark World access. Moon Pearl can get you pretty much full access to everywhere in the Dark World. So, there's the only thing you really can't get into is Ice Palace. In theory, there are ways to do it without any equipment, but generally not advisable to do so on such low equipment. Just for routing purposes, there's not a lot of value in doing it.
We've taken another try against Moldorm here. It looks like, as far as what we've been able to find so far, we've got a lot of like generally mid to later items that don't do us any good until we get something else yet. That's a tricky little clip that Cinaeth has taken some goes at, getting around that spring, the bouncer. Hey, there you go.
Yeah, that gap is pretty. You have to be pretty accurate on that one, and I can't. I've seen pretty much everybody get hit by that one sometimes. So, that's a very common one to get bounced back on if you're not accurate.
That's one that'll bounce you out even if you know what you're doing.
Yep.
It just says no.
But
Couch Cash on the other on the Bombos tablet, the Ether tablet was a shovel. Neeeekolaz showed us earlier, so nothing super mission critical unless there's something on Digspot later. That will be quite the last ditch.
Cinaeth getting hit in the penalty box yet again by Moldorm, so this is a battle for the ages. Cinaeth is out for blood now.
Now it's personal. As the vanilla hint tile, if you don't have hints turned on, as the hint tile on the bottom of Hera says, the guy here will make you fall a lot.
All right, so Neeeekolaz looks to be going up to K45 here, and we'll be getting that Moon Pearl, so we'll see if Neeeekolaz decides to go into the Dark World after getting that Moon Pearl, because there's plenty open to us. You can get quite a few things in the Dark World.
Gives Cinaeth a little love for keeping at this jerky little worm.
Also, we've got Checkerboard Cave, and that's nothing but a big 20, so nothing there. Neeeekolaz now headed possibly to Desert here. Don't think Neeeekolaz has been to Desert yet.
No, I don't believe he has. Hey, we've got Moldorm dead. GG's.
And there is our first crystal of the day. So we've got Neeeekolaz headed into Desert, and that is also a crystal. Neeeekolaz will be able to clear this one out, so we'll see. Cinaeth, this would be a good time to head down to the Dark World after the mountain here. So we'll see if that's what Cinaeth does. May clear Paradox first before committing to that, but
Link also seeks literacy, which is always good.
that dead rock can be quite pesky when you're doing this clip. Cinaeth's just trying to get some peace and quiet over here while he's trying to concentrate, and that dead rock just did not want to cooperate. Just a little side note, all the minor glitches that you may be familiar with in terms of accessing different areas in no glitches logic, such as fake flippers, water walking, things like that. In Overworld glitches, those are in logic. So, you know, not only are you allowed to parkour everywhere, but all the basic stuff that you're already used to, yeah, of course, that's in logic.
Pieces of heart everywhere. We need some bows and magic sticks and hook shots.
So yes, looks like Cinaeth is going to head over to Paradox. Going to clip into this wall here, do a teleport. This one's a little bit trickier than most teleports because you have to do a little bit extra to get yourself out of the wall. So you gotta wiggle the D-pad from right down, left, right down, left, right down, left. If you hit up, you get stuck into the wall. So you just gotta wiggle yourself along the way, and Cinaeth bonking that sign, so...
Not sure if we saw that with Neeeekolaz, but we just got a big fat red rupee on the floating island, so we don't need to worry about that. So far, none of the little in plain sight, out of the way spots have had anything particularly of note. We've just some pieces of heart, a shield in Lost Woods, some red rupees. So, except for the book. The book is probably the most useful thing that we found in plain sight so far.
Question in chat about the sign. Yes, there is a sign up there, and it's got the Overworld Glitches Tournament winner names on it. Although we didn't have one this year, so I think the latest one was from 2019.
Just like the tile when you fall to Ganon, the tile in there has the general Rando tournament winners on it.
So it looks like these runners are prioritizing clearing out the light world here. That's fair. It's what you're used to as a no glitches runner. You don't think necessarily to go straight into the dark world, because if you're missing XYZ things. So, but at this point, once you get your hands on that moon pearl, which it was in a fairly accessible location, all bets are off. Things could be in the dark world, in the light world, wherever.
Yeah, especially since they were able to find that so quickly. We've got a lot of bee friends and bottles tonight. Sadly, they will probably just be left with the potion vendor to be his new friends.
So Cinaeth is jumping in there to the back of Escape.
We don't need those where we're going. We don't need those slippers.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic that a goose doesn't come automatically equipped with flippers.
There's been some evolutionary problems here, I think. We got Cinaeth is making his way to Dark Cross, just so we don't orphan this. It's usually a good call, but not rewarded. Just a big fat 20. And Neeeekolaz is off to make a very hefty deposit.
Let's see what's on sale today. Oh, it's a tax return.
Boo.
All right, so Neeeekolaz is doing some thinking here. I think Neeeekolaz might be pondering going into the dark world, but perhaps is trying to consider what Neeeekolaz might want to do in the dark world. Meanwhile, Cinaeth is headed down, gonna do a Death Mountain descent here. So this is gonna be a spin speed clip. Walk right out that wall. The important part here is do not press down. You have to dash turn up and bonk off of the wall above you so that you do not get stuck.
And we're going to get our first glimpse of the Dark World dungeons here, probably in a minute. So we'll see where our crystals are.
And Bumper Ledge, that pesky one check that you have to have the cape for in no glitches. Yeah, there's a clip for that.
Oh, looks like our other pendant is Ice Palace, so looks like gloves aren't really as required as normal.
Yep, it is entirely possible to not need the gloves. However, both of our runners do have a pair of gloves. So, well, the power glove, I should say. But yeah, so we also could talk about the red crystals, but in Overworld Glitches, as with a lot of things, there's a way around that too. So there is a way to clip into the Pyramid Fairy without ever having to even get the bomb. But that one requires the mirror, so it's possible, very, very unlikely that you could have to use the bomb to get in there if mirror is there. But other than that, we can get in there.
So can we talk a little bit about the like the mentor format of this? Like, is there anything? Oh, we have a hook shot in Skullwoods. Is there anything that like is off limits? Say, like as far as topics of discussion for our mentors to be talking to our runners about?
So the only thing that's really off limits is that the mentor themselves do not have like a copy of the seed active, so they cannot go into the seed themselves and play, because that would allow potential scouting of items, which obviously would turn it into more of a co-op. So that's really the only topic per se that isn't allowed. The mentors can even fire up the practice hack and kind of show on the fly some tutorials how to their mentees if they are so inclined. But yeah, for at least this week, the mentors are allowed to basically kind of guide their mentees as they wish.
So yeah, probably part of the reason why we so sometimes when we see our runners thinking, they're probably just, this whole time they've got their mentor, Malmo and Orange have been kind enough to stand in for our mentors today. And they've got them in their ear, just kind of talking them through what they need to do, what decisions they need to be thinking about, what might be a better call than others, and why. Really great learning experience for everybody. Me included.
Yep. So what Neeeekolaz is doing here is going to be setting up for a bomb clip here. So as you can see, Neeeekolaz is kind of trapped in there. We don't have a hammer. However, there's a clip for that. And there you go. Using the damage on the bomb to clip into the wall on the right angle and being able to escape that little trapped area there.
I imagine that bomber guy there does not make that any easier.
Yeah, it is a bit pesky. But yeah, back to the mentor format. So while the mentors are allowed to kind of discuss whatever they wish with their mentees, it's not entirely, because this is the first dig. Wow, that's a nice dig game. But
very nice.
It's not advised to basically just have the mentors go here, now go here, go here, go here, go here. Because the whole point of this is to have these mentees learn not only the overworld glitches, but some of these mentees are also newer to the game itself and just wanting to start out real big on overworld glitches. So there's also routing experience to be had in here as well.
Hey, mate, so, if you're gonna pick up these skills, you may as well go all the way.
Yep. So the mentors will generally guide the mentees in a more macro sense of, they may recommend a play, but they'll also explain the reasoning behind it as to why you might want to do that. And ultimately, though, the decision is up to the runner. And, you know, they may say, well, I want to do something different. And, you know, the mentee can only be there just to guide them and suggest some opportunities. So that's what they'll be looking to do.
So far, nothing terribly exciting in Thieves Town for Cinaeth. Just making our way through the Hellway. Walking not so fast.
Yep. Noticeably coming in here without the hammer, so we already have the small key, so it's very possible that that big chest might have something. You know, me personally, I think it's just fine to go into Thieves Town without the hammer. Some people avoid it and don't want to leave that one potential check behind. So it's you know, it's a one way or the other kind of deal. So
All right, we got Neeeekolaz up to something over here.
yeah, it looks like Neeeekolaz is going to try to get into the mire area from over here by the where you usually mirror for Bombo's tablet.
I'm gonna give that another try.
And in case you're wondering, now that Neeeekolaz is in the mire area, we're seeing a lot of weird stuff on screen.
Mire looks fine. I don't know what you're seeing.
So that's what happens when you go to mire in a way that the game did not intend. It does not have a time to load the rain, so it gets all confused and garbled. And that's the game's attempt at loading the rain. And there's the flute in Mire Shed. So given that these runners are newer to Overworld Glitches, I would say that they probably be more inclined to activate the flute as opposed to doing YBAs. But, you know, it could be possible that they just never want to activate that, too. So it looks like we need Ether for Mire.
Yeah. The one they don't have. Ain't that always the way?
So we got a blind fight on Cinaeth's side. Meanwhile, Neeeekolaz trying to get out of mire.
Real groaner from blind today. Tried to catch fog, but I missed. In case that went by too fast for you.
Ooh. We do have a fairy though. Cinaeth, I believe the stun prize is fairies. I think I saw that. So using that stun prize to obtain a fairy for the blind fight, very nice heads up there, and gets blind down.
I can't recall if we saw the map or compass. So
I do believe the compass was in the maiden chest. I don't remember. I want to say we saw the map as well, but I don't remember.
So I'm not sure if there's still an item left in there or not in the big chest. All right, Neeeekolaz is about to get his second sword because that's hanging out here in C-Shape's house.
Yep, and Cinaeth looks like they're going to basically probably retrace Neeeekolaz's steps here. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go into mire, check Mire Shed, and then use that to go into Stumpy and then Hype Cave.
Yeah, Neeekolaz is probably moving on into Thieves Town himself. I mean, we're coming in the back entrance of the Meyer area today for Cinaeth.
And Neeekolaz going into Thieves Town. We'll see if Neeekolaz does finish or just checking the front four here. So if we do see that map come up, we'll know that there's an item in the big chest.
Yeah, a common component of no glitches routing is to just treat the front of Thieves Town like just another Village of Outcasts location and just grab it while you're in the area, regardless of whether it's a pendant or crystal, or if you have the hammer or not. And then, whether or not you finish it is going to depend on the rest of those factors.
Yeah. It's these first four checks. It's a very dense location for the time it takes to actually complete these checks. So it's definitely worth popping in, even if it's a pendant. And it looks like Neeekolaz is out. There were a lot of items in the front, so I definitely, would agree with, saying, hey, there may be, I think there's one item left now. I think that was 3 items. So basically you got all you pretty much could out of there, and now you just wait for the hammer.
Yes, and I don't think he's missing out on anything of value in the back, if I recall correctly.
Here's I'm not sure if Neeekolaz intended this. Looks like he may have. So this is what we call fake dark world. Well, now Neeekolaz is in the light world, but when you die in a dungeon, normally basically if Aga 1 is not dead and you don't have the mirror or anything like that, you're gonna have you're gonna have an issue where you're gonna be in what's called fake dark world, and when you transition over to a different screen, it'll bring you to the light world. You can fix this by mirroring twice, but since we don't have the mirror, we can't fix that. But it can also be used in Neeekolaz's case to be somewhat of a pseudo mirror to get back to the light world. So Neeekolaz may have intended to do that to get that flute activation.
And you can tell that the fake dark world because of the dark world tiles kind of invading the village there.
Yeah, and that is part of that. Yeah. So it has the dark world tile set loaded. So it's trying to apply the dark world tile set to the normal Kakariko structures.
Well, looks like we're going to see Hookshot Cave for the first time. Meanwhile, we have Neeekolaz working his way up Tower of Hera. I can't recall if there's anything of super important up and through the top.
I do not recall.
I remember the hookshot was found in Skullwoods, which Neeekolaz still lacks. And we're also going to see Super Bunny Cave.
A little side note about Super Bunny Cave. If you have the hammer, it's possible that you may need to go to Super Bunny Cave to find the Moon Pearl, because you can clip on top of the little elevated area that has that that teleportation pad. Ooh, there's the fire rod.
Nice, very nice.
So you can if you have the hammer, you can activate that teleportation pad to what you would normally use to get to Turtle Rock, and then walk on over to Super Bunny Cave, and you automatically get Super Bunny when you drop down through a hole. So that's why they call it Super Bunny Cave. And sometimes Moon Pearl is there.
Another one of those Overworld Glitches only locations was that flute in Mire Shed too, right? That's not possible in No Glitches because you need the flute to get there.
That is correct. Now, I want to point out, now that Cinaeth has the Fire Rod, we can start considering going to GT here. So we may see a GT play very soon, because we can do the right side, and it is extremely common for GT to hold progression items.
GT climb, 48 minutes in, let's go. We have some simultaneous mountain climbing going on here.
Yep, and Neeeekolaz will not be able to fully clear Hookshot Cave here, but we'll be getting the important thing off the mountain, which is the Fire Rod. Now, that will drive them, though, to Skull Woods to get that hookshot. So this is a little bit of good news for Neeeekolaz, since he'll have an incentive to go back to Skull Woods. Meanwhile, Cinaeth using a spin speed clip to get onto that Turtle Rock Bridge, just sliding right off and falling right down. And so we're going to get to see some Turtle Rock exploration.
Is this a typical way to get into Turtle Rock in Overworld Glitches?
It depends on your level of experience, and your equipment. So typically for more experienced runners, they will opt to go in from Laser Bridge, provided that you have the cane. If you don't have the cane, you may go in the middle, you may go in through Laser Bridge. But if you have the cane, you're going to start from Laser Bridge because it's the most kind of efficient way to do Turtle Rock. Since you're guaranteed to get some small keys along the way, so that you don't key lock yourself out. Because if you grab that one small key off the pokey and then use that to check Lava Chest, you may not get another small key in Lava Chest or the Chain Chomp chest. So then you would have to either go in through Turtle Rock or through Laser Bridge, or use a medallion to open the front door.
Because the key logic was not laid out to consider entering from the middle and using the key that way.
It's not that it wasn't considered. It's more so it just didn't work out that way. Because the key logic will assume that you can access Turtle Rock from the middle. It just may not be laid out in that manner.
I see. And we've got some more almost synchronization going on here. Everybody's party in Turtle Rock. Neeeekolaz taking a death over here. Bonking on through. And let's see what's on in Crystal Roller Room. I tell you, this doing this platform room with the torches can really mess with your head when you go in there without the hookshot, because you have to go around the other way. Like, it's doable without the hook, but you have to like go around first and then hit all the torches, and it just messes with my head, man. But fortunately, our runners don't have to worry about that today.
Neeeekolaz getting a little bullied by those anti-fairies there, but now it's just Neeeekolaz and the Pokies, and Cinaeth has cleared out the front, getting that big key, and going to continue on down. Maybe not. I think Cinaeth is going to go back for... I think they were playing it safe and did not pick up that lava chest, which is a good call when you're entering from the middle, because like I said again, the key logic may not work out to where you can continue all the way through the dungeon. So a lot of times if you're going to do this entering through the middle, you should skip that lava chest just to ensure that you can get enough keys.
And in the end, it was not worth it. It was just a map. We got Neeeekolaz trying to enact vengeance against this here Pokey.
Making good use of that fire rod. And Neeeekolaz is going to skip lava chest as well, and going to use that key to continue on to the front. And again, it's often that the keys will either be locked behind... The small keys may either be locked behind the big key, such as maybe one on Laser Bridge and one in Crystal Roller Room, for instance. Or you might get a couple up front. It's very easy to get key locked, so...
Neeeekolaz is just getting bullied in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, Green Mail and Turtle Rock it can be quite brutal. Those Pokies, Chain Chomps, everything in here just hits like a truck, and it can just be very unfun.
And I'm learning something watching Cinaeth here. I didn't know when you threw the hook shot that the platform stopped moving.
Yeah, you can
invincibility.
Yep, you can do that for to avoid these fire bars. So it's a really nice knowledge to have. Where hookshot pretty much, when you want to try to avoid taking damage, and you got the hookshot, if you're not sure, hey, give it a try. Usually it'll save you. Meanwhile, Neeeekolaz getting cornered by the guard dogs over here.
They take no prisoners. Taking that safety door, no harm in it.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with laser skip, bootsless, or with boots, it can be quite a lesson in pain on Green Mail.
And even taking on Trinex just in normal circumstances with Green Mail, without a magic extension, even as many hearts as Cinaeth has right now, that can, those hearts can disappear very, very quickly.
Yeah, I believe lasers do, I think, 5 or maybe 4 hearts of damage. It's quite a bit.
This hard hat beetle is the bane of every single attempt at trying to do these. Every time you fall and die, that hard hat beetle is back to say hello again.
Yeah, I always like to put a Samaria block there to basically just auto bump him off the ledge.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can just aggro himself right off.
All right, so Neeeekolaz is going to get run over by those rollers to get a nice death warp back.
Found some powder on Laser Bridge. Maybe important. Probably won't be.
Looks like Neeeekolaz might be getting some information from their mentor. Their mentor may be explaining something about key logic, or but the Neeeekolaz is going to want to get that big chest because that does contain a small key. So
Yes. Looks like we're taking the long way around to get back to that right hand door.
all right, Cinaeth has completed the grueling task of battling Laser Bridge, and Neeeekolaz is stepping outside after getting that big chest. Looks like maybe getting some more information from their mentor, trying to get some guidance here as to what the next steps are, and is going to go back, get that lava chest. Maybe not. All right, so we got Cinaeth headed to GT here. So we're just going to get a little bit of a hop down. And oh, what do you know? We're here.
Walking up some invisible stairs right into the front of GT.
Interestingly enough, in Overworld Glitches, it is not uncommon to beat Aga 2 before you have completed 7 crystals. If you have the means to complete GT while you're here, usually you probably should do it.
Oh well, even if there's a clip for bumper ledge, we've got a cape now, and that's pretty easy to get.
Cape is a nice piece of comfort.
Yes. This is a trick that I know well. Grab onto the wall while you're wearing the cape and pull. Just hold A and pull upwards or away from the wall, and you won't drain your magic. So you can just chill here, and the wall master can't get you. The bunny beam can't get you. The tiles can't get you. You can just chill. So how y'all doing?
Yeah, it's the next best thing to a coffee break. You actually got to hold the controller so you can't walk away, but yeah, you can at least have some thoughts to yourself.
Yeah, and having a good conversation with your mentor. But the patience didn't quite pay off, just the compass.
Yeah, that's another thing you see in Overworld Glitch. Because, so to explain something, normally GT will have a junk prefill that limits the amount of items that it can have, in addition to it being hard locked by 7 crystals and no glitches logic. So generally, you're not going to find anything useful in GT in your standard open. However, that junk prefill is removed in Overworld Glitches, and GT can have a whole bag of items if you get an early hammer and hookshot per se. So you'll see a lot of times, if you get an early cane, a lot more people doing tile room, because we're still checking for quite a few items. So you'll see a lot more tile rooms in this Overworld Glitches competition.
Our first armor upgrade.
Yeah, I'm sure Blue Mail will be quite welcome. With 14 hearts, Blue Mail, that just the Blue Mail alone really adds so much value to those 14 hearts. Late game, 14 hearts, even 14 hearts on Green Mail, like, it's still not entirely significant. I mean, because there are some enemies that will do a ton of damage, and Ganon hugs are they're just devastating. So, Blue Mail goes a long way to cut a lot of that damage in half.
Oh, absolutely. Not much scarier as a novice runner than having to face down that pig in Green Mail. Like, maybe I'll do some of those checks that I ignored. So we're going to see some Master Sword, lots of sword beam action going on here for Ice Armos, because we don't have either bow. But of course, swipes may be more damage overall, but this at least is safer on the ice floor than getting all up in their face.
Actually, on Master Sword, swipes actually do less damage than sword pokes. Interesting fact. And so the sword beams are actually the better strategy than swipes.
I see.
Yeah, Armos Knights has some weird stuff going on with the sword damage.
So that's just not a club for Mothula then.
Yep. And I'm not sure if you knew this, but just a fun fact for the crowd as well. Armos can actually also be defeated by using boomerangs. It takes a lot of boomerang hits, but it can be done.
I believe the no glitches randomizer is programmed so that will never be required, but it's still a thing you can do. It's like in logic and legal, but like the logic won't ever force it. You will have a sword. Obviously you'll have the bow if you're not doing boss shuffle.
We have chat confirming the numbers of 48 hits per Armos Knight.
Oof. So there's 7 of them? So
there are 6.
6 of them. So what's that total?
That'd be a 168. No, sorry. Matt, I'm trying to do too many things at once. I can't math it that fast right now. I'm tired. But yeah, it's a lot. It's too many. But yeah, the backup favorite strat, if you don't have bow, is if you're lucky enough to have the Cane of Berna, you can get a nice stun lock on all of them. They'll pile on top of you nice and neatly, so you can damage them all at once.
Yes, if you interrupt their dance, and you knock one of them out of sequence, none of them will move until that one is back in sequence. So yeah, just get them in a nice little pile and just chew through them. But yeah, that actually is that's 288. I just fired up my calculator because I have an English degree. I know better than to try to do it in my head on the fly.
All right, so Neeeekolaz is in Skull Woods, gonna defeat the Mothula here. Meanwhile, we've got a castle check. So here's something that you'll see a lot in this tournament as well. Really late castle checks. There's a reason for that. Because runners tend to wait for the mirror so that they can do Pyramid Fairy and the front of escape at the same time.
Oh, he bailed before the cell because he doesn't have the mirror. Is that what you were talking about?
No, it may have been a map, or it had to have been the map.
Oh, I see. Okay. Another flute activation over here.
I have to wonder if Neeeekolaz's goose is related to the duck in any way.
I wonder. Duck doesn't seem to have any problem helping out the goose, though. Just scoops him right up like anybody else.
Cinaeth is going to do a clip here. Has the powder, so without the hammer or mirror, normally you couldn't get here. But with this clip, you will be able to access Magic Bat. And it looks like Cinaeth is getting some instructions from their mentor as to how to do this clip. Because it can be a bit tricky since visually you don't have a lot of indicators. It's one of those things you just got to know how to do.
Yeah, just fell into a hole in the middle of the water. Looks perfectly normal.
And we got a pack of bombs. So, speaking of bombs, we got an exploding moth on our hands.
Just a bloopy.
Gotta wonder if Ganon filled all of his monsters with explosives before he sent them off in the world, because they sure do explode a lot.
Yeah, can't leave any evidence. It's gonna be his word against Link's.
Or it could be some kind of self-destruct sequence so that, maybe go down with the ship kind of mentality.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, we're going to see what that shovel from the tablet gets us.
Meanwhile...
I'll get you the shovel. There you go.
Yep, and that is a whole bunch of nothing. Meanwhile, Neeeekolaz is going to go into the front of Skull Woods. Gonna get that hook shot. So let's take a look. We haven't been to Pod yet.
Yeah, it's a pendant, but that's a lot of checks.
Question chat. The gloves were in Paradox Cave. So I'd have to say that it's probably time to go to Pod here, because there's not a lot left on the list to check.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, looks like we're gonna see some dead worms here in a minute.
Yep, Cinaeth is cleaning house over here. Meanwhile, Neeeekolaz is headed to the back of Thieves Town. So we'll get confirmation to see if we got the map back there. So Neeeekolaz will be missing that big chest item if there is one as well. So they'll be on even footing for that. But after, I'm interested to see what Cinaeth is going to do after Desert. Because again, we're running out of stuff to look through, so I think Pod is really the next best option here, and we may see a Catfish Death Mountain Descent to start that one off, because that's a good way to get Catfish out of the way. You can just jump down off the mountain into the screen where Catfish is, and then from there you can go south one screen and do a teleport to get into the pod area. So routing Catfish in Overworld Glitches is a whole lot nicer than in normal no glitches logic.
Yeah, we can just go right over the mountains in between. So that makes 3 crystals for Cinaeth versus Neeeekolaz's 2.
Yep, Neeeekolaz about to get that third here once he completes the blind fight.
Looks like we're going to take a look at this tablet here, but we already know that this isn't anything. I believe it's just a couch cache. So let's see if Cinaeth is heading to pod or not. Nope, on the mountain first.
All right, so Cinaeth looks like they're gonna set up here for the King's Tomb jump down here. If you jump on the rocks in the right way, if you jump basically halfway between the rock and the bush, the game gets confused as to what you're standing on, so it will allow you to pick up the black rock without Titan's Mitts, because it's assuming it's a bush. So it's assuming you have the strength to pick it up.
Game says it wouldn't let you stand on it if it wasn't a bush, right? Right? Totally. And we got a third crystal for Neeeekolaz. So we're neck and neck on the crystal count at the moment. I think Cinaeth is still up a little bit as far as items are concerned. But they're both coming up against the same bottleneck here. They may have different ways of finding their way out. Like if Neeeekolaz goes straight to Catfish and Pod, like you suggested, or if Cinaeth continues to try to get into King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge.
Yep. Looks like Neeeekolaz is doing a save and quit. And so this is going to be either a Catfish Pod play or a GT play.
Right, Neeeekolaz has not been in GT yet.
Meanwhile, from Cinaeth, I would expect this is the Catfish Pod play. There's really nothing else left to do on this side of the mountain other than that. So this one is another spin speed clip. You just activate spin speed and walk off that little elbow there and press down, and you get your funny auto walk thing going on. And oh look, here we are.
Got some extra pixels. Are we supposed to save the frames, not add new ones?
Hey, there's some free bombs.
Yeah. So we're gonna see another. Are we gonna see another one of those to get down to pod from here?
We will see a down teleport, or
Or we're hoofing it. I wonder if we're gonna check pyramid on the way.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, this is going to be a pyramid check. Not a bad call. You know.
Another shirt up there.
Hey, nothing wrong with picking up the red mail.
Got that stylish purple hat. We also got Neeeekolaz pulling on that wall, save himself a little stress in the tile room. It's not going to be for anything. I believe that chest is the compass, but hey, might as well grab it while you're there.
Alrighty, so I think we're guaranteed to find something exciting here in pod at this point. I can't think of anything else that's really left on Cinaeth's side.
Yeah,
and Neeeekolaz is pretty close behind. After completing GT, I don't think Neeeekolaz has anything else either.
Yeah, there's almost certainly a hammer in here, unless there's a location that we're both forgetting about.
Technically, they could get into Ice Palace, but it wouldn't be logic, and so and without hammer, it's not really a big incentive to go there.
Got the save and quit out. I wonder why we're not continuing pod. I think we have a little bit of discussion going on Cinaeth's side, while Neeeekolaz is making his way through the right side. I think Cinaeth realized they hadn't been in Eastern yet, which I also forgot about. So fair play. Even without the bow to finish it, there's still 3 chests, I believe, that they could get. 1, 2, 4. Yeah, the no glitches standard is kind of to duck into here after Sahashila's closet. Well, unless you don't have the bow. Some people will avoid Eastern like the plague if they do not have the bow, but generally, at least checking the front of Eastern, these first 3 chests, is usually a good call. A lot of people don't know that underneath that chest, there's a couple of pots that have hearts in them. So if you're struggling and you limped yourself into Eastern, you can duck under there and get you a little health. It's another case where we confuse the game by killing things before they appear properly, and we have a bow in Eastern. Of course, we have a bow in Eastern.
So, nice French vanilla bow in a pendant Eastern. What a find.
Ain't it though? Ain't it though? Rando gonna rando. And we also have a vanilla big key. I'm gonna claim commentator's curse on that because like I get that like every other week.
Well, so perhaps that means back to pod.
Yeah, having that bow just made 2 more chests available in pod.
And I have been corrected on the logic for Ice Palace. It used to be the case where mitts were required for Ice Palace, but that has since been updated to not be required. With flippers, you do have access to Ice Palace. But, again, without Hammer, it's not the most attractive play anyway.
See what we got in this big chest. Oh, that's just a compass.
Yeah, I think I agree with Cinaeth on full clearing Eastern Palace at this point, because it's like, you know, it's gotten to this point where I came here for something, and the bow really didn't satisfy the need for what I'm looking for, because we want that hammer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The only way Armos doesn't die here again is if it was the map or the compass, and we've already seen both of those. So that's the only way this Armos survives the sea. Alright, Neeeekolaz just discovered the bombs buried underground in the middle of the secret grove.
So was that just a landmine?
No, because it wasn't lit yet. It's just a speed bump. And we have mitts we don't need.
Well, I guess that'll make getting into Ice Palace without glitches, you know, fun.
And I guess there is a universe where that's your... Is there a universe where that's your first glove? Yeah, there is. Which
Yeah, I mean, you just go to... you just go over to Eastern Palace early on, and there you go. Because we got that lamp pretty early, I think.
Oh, yeah. I think Cinaeth had...
Was it? Yeah, it was in Sahasrahla. So you just go to Eastern area and just go do Eastern. And there's your bow, your glove, and your lamp, and...
Go do Pendant Eastern in the first 15 minutes of a race. Sounds like a great plan. We're headed back into the Village of Outcasts the conventional way. I think Cinaeth might be heading for Skullwoods here. Yeah. Because he just went in, got that hook shot, and left. He hasn't killed Mothula yet.
Yep, and Neeeekolaz gonna go ahead and clear out the landmo in the back here. So with that bow, we're still looking at pod, but you know, Cinaeth may go to Ice Palace instead of going back to pod. I don't know. It's one of those things where you feel like you went to a place and you don't want to go back. You know, so you may see a play to a new place. So we may see Ice Palace out of Cinaeth after this, but time will tell. I think Pod might still be the right play with that bow, but
he's just going straight back to Mothula and maybe coming back for that chest afterwards. Not a bad call.
Yeah, Cinaeth knows that Cinaeth already got the first item, which was the hook shot out of here. So if you kill Moth and Moth happens to have the item, then you don't have to go back for anything. Which in Cinaeth's case will turn out to get that second item in Skull Woods, which is just a blue rupee.
He had some almost dual insecticide going on here. We got a couple of Orkin men going at this. Little pest control in Hyrule. This is also a much more comfortable fight for Cinaeth than it was for Neeeekolaz because of this red mail.
Yeah.
Golden bees? Are we going to see the golden bees? Nope, we're not.
Yeah, on Moth, pretty much blue mail is where the as good as it gets here, since Moth's beams and and Moth hugs do 2 hearts of damage, while the spikes will always do 1. So more hearts is generally the better safety here, but Cinaeth getting it done with just a half a heart left. So that was a close one.
Half a heart is good enough. So now we've got a lineup of 1, 2, 3, 4 crystals for Cinaeth to 3 for Neeeekolaz. There's still plenty of game to be played here.
It actually it is 4 and 4. So
is it? I'm sorry. I can count. I see it now. My bad.
Yeah. So Nicholas is gonna finish up Hookshot Cave, and then may do Catfish after this. So again, I think what'll be the more interesting thing is to see where Cinaeth is gonna head. We do have mitts, so Cinaeth can go ahead and grab that smith. And with our flute, it's not going to make that turn in terrible.
Yeah, mirror would be ideal, but flute isn't bad.
So Nicholas getting those 3 bombs off Catfish and headed straight down. And we'll see if Nicholas does check Pyramid as well, or decides to just do the clip. Looks like Nicholas is probably going to go for that Pyramid check.
So that's going to be his first armor upgrade, because he didn't get it out of... I can't remember where the first one was.
It was in GT, and yeah, he did get that.
Oh, he did? Okay. It's hard to tell on the goose, because the only color that changes on the goose is like a few pixels by its tail. So it's somewhat hard to tell on the goose.
So the goose has tail armor?
Yes. It whips its tail back and forth. Wait, is that an old meme? Am I too old for that? Now we have a big shirt on a goose.
Well, it looks like that smith had a sword, so that's a nice find.
Vanilla swords outside of a vanilla sword setting. Not impossible.
Looks like Nicholas is headed back up I wonder if this is to do a clip down into the pod area. Oh, looks like Neeeekolaz is going to buy a potion for Potion Glitch. Oh, and it looks like Neeeekolaz is going to use this opportunity to clip down instead of walking all the way around again. Meanwhile, Cinaeth turning in the purple chest and finding just a big 20. So now, Neeeekolaz is going to go farther in pod than Cinaeth did. And now Cinaeth has to choose between Ice Palace and pod. So this is where things can get a little bit interesting. If Neeeekolaz even finds the mirror, that's really good because he'll definitely mirror and do Eastern Palace if receiving nothing else.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because it's right there. There's no reason to not do that. Like he's gonna grab this map or compass. I forget which one here on the left side. Oh, another sword in King's Tomb. So that's all 4 swords accounted for. So we started with one. We had one in we had the one on Blacksmith. We had that one that we just saw in King's Tomb, and I'm sorry, where was the Master Sword?
The Master Sword, I can't remember. That was pretty early on.
Yeah.
But Cinaeth is in Ice Palace. As I figured, again, having came, when you came here, and came up empty, and then you find the bow somewhere else, you're still not necessarily wanting to go back. Because you just hate to have to backtrack on stuff.
Do we have a mimic clip attempt going on Neeeekolaz's side? Is that
it may be Neeeekolaz may be getting asking their mentor how to mimic clip, or maybe even Potion Glitch. I'm not sure on what Neeeekolaz is familiar with. So may not know how to do Potion Glitch, may know that it exists, but I'm pretty sure that they're getting instructions from their mentor on some kind of trick.
indeed? We have some icebreaker action going on for Cinaeth.
Yeah, it does look like Neeeekolaz is getting an explanation on how the Potion Glitch works and how to do it, given that they're now out in the hallway with their potion ready. So, and there we go. We have some camera action here. So now all Neeeekolaz has to do is kind of hold the wall and maneuver those mimics off to the side. We'll need to get that red mimic stuck behind a pot to get those green mimics off to the left there. Yep.
Game says nothing, no enemies on screen. Good enough. Opens the door.
And is that the hammer in Ice Palace? Oh my
no.
god.
All right, he's bailing.
You gotta just love hammer in Ice Palace. So we're going back to GT, I think, perhaps.
Yeah, probably if we're making this trip into Hera. So hopefully our mirror is waiting for us in GT, because that's I believe the last thing Cinaeth needs for go mode, if I'm not mistaken. Ether. We also need ether.
Yeah, we need ether and we need the ice rod.
Oh, right.
But one other important thing is that Cinaeth can also do the climb at this point. So we will probably see a GT climb at this point. Clear out the left side, get that big key, do the climb, see what's up there, kill Aga 2 just so that it's ready. There's that big key.
That'd be a very, very kind big key if we didn't already have to do the whole right side first. What do you think Neeeekolaz is after going back into TR here? Just whatever's waiting for him on Laser Bridge?
I don't recall if Neeeekolaz did Laser Bridge earlier. I'm imagining not if he's headed back. So, yeah, this could be just a return to Laser Bridge and checking to see what's on there.
Going back and picking up stuff he left behind before he moves on to new stuff. All right, let's see what a rando room's got for us with Cinaeth.
And Neeeekolaz using...
Oh, there's that mirror.
Yep, Neeeekolaz making great use of that cape and half magic to dodge those beams, but just going to take the safety door just in case.
Absolutely.
That's the important part for, any racer, but especially if you're, still learning the game and still learning Overworld glitches and stuff. You just know your limitations, as a lot of people say, not dying is the best time save.
Oh, absolutely. Hitting that supply room on the way up, right before the start of the gauntlet, and the bullet room, the bullet hallway of upper GT. Also a good call to bonk yourself over there.
Yep. You're always going to lose probably significantly more time dying than trying to do something fast, or trying to skip some safety because you think you see the top runners and they're like, you're like, well, they skipped the safeties, but when you're not practiced as and perfect on your game, any slip up can cost you a lot more time than it was worth to skip that safety.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting these mimics lined up and holding that sword out like that through that doorway is super helpful in keeping these guys under control and getting them killed before the BMOs swing around to zap you, because that just gets those mimics right where you want them if you carry that sword hold through that doorway.
Yep, and it looks like Neeeekolaz is going to follow the powder here. As we know, it is nothing important. And Cinaeth is going to enter the gauntlet here. So we're going to have 4 checks at the top. GT could still have some more goodies for us up there. But, you know, other than that, we still do have, at this point, quite a few things to check now that we've got that hammer and mirror.
Yeah, it's with the mirror and whatnot, it's a quick trip into Thieves Town to check the big chest now that we have the hammer.
Yeah, most importantly, we have access to Swamp Palace. So Swamp Palace will probably be Cinaeth's next stop.
But if that ether's chilling in Thieves Town, that would be quite the pain.
Yeah, a lot of times, if you orphan that Thieves Town big chest, you're not going back for it anytime soon. A lot of people will hold it till basically last location, so.
Cinaeth's gonna grab this safety bunny beam here, fairy. What's Neeeekolaz up to over here? It's doing some hill climbing.
Neeeekolaz is headed back into the Dark World, making good use of that bomb clip tech that he has clearly been practicing. That's pretty impressive because for a newer runner, because bomb clips are actually really precise, and Neeeekolaz has been getting that with some real good consistency. So that's some pretty precise timing, and that's impressive for a newcomer.
Yeah, he just bypassed that hammer requirement on both sides of that portal.
And yep, and looks like this is the Ice Palace play for Neeeekolaz, so we'll be getting that hammer, so we'll be keeping behind Cinaeth, but Neeeekolaz is going to need some kind of break here to kind of really catch up. So I'm not sure as to, because there's not a whole lot left in terms of what can really troll our runners here. So Cinaeth is kind of firmly in the driver's seat here, but these runners are new to Overworld Glitches, and in normal circumstances, in your no glitches races, usually there's less major catastrophes that could happen, but hard locks are a thing, and if you hard lock, you have to hard reset, and if you haven't saved in a while, that could be a lot of lost progress.
Oh yeah, absolutely, that would be. And then you got to remember where everything was.
Yep. So, I don't wish that on any runner, to be clear, but it is a possibility being, new runners to this. Oh, and there's the ice rod at the top. But if you're not careful, you can definitely get hard locked.
All right. Time for a vindication against Moldorm for Cinaeth. Ooh, that's one. Meanwhile, Neeeekolaz is heading into, I'm sure, icebreaker his way into the to the big key chest of Ice Palace. Hey, vindication! Alright, so the only thing waiting for us at the top of GT was that ice rod.
Yep, but we came out of this GT trip with a mirror and an ice rod, so hey, I call that a win.
Absolutely.
But now, the real question is, where is that ether medallion going to show up? Because that ether is just about as good as an ice rod hunt.
Oh yeah, it can be anywhere except in Mire. But that's not a distinction that means much. So all Cinaeth has left in Turtle Rock is the boss, and then he's just got all of Swamp and Pod to find that ether medallion.
Now, what I am curious about, and this is just more of a fun thing. So a lot of the experienced runners kind of have their own method that they use to get to Ganon, because a lot of times you'll have you'll have defeated Agatu before you get 7 crystals. It happens in most seeds, so you'll see some nice neat tech to get to Pyramid. And I wonder if our mentors have taught our mentees anything like that. I know it's probably out of the scope of learning. I'm just curious, to see if anybody's going to bust out some neat tech.
Oh yeah, we shall see. Because those stairs on the way up to the pyramid are so slow, even with spin speed. So I think we're getting Swamp from Cinaeth first.
Yeah, this is the play that makes the most sense. The only other thing that might make more sense is to do Turtle Rock, but I don't know if we got all the items out of Turtle Rock. So if there's no items left, then obviously you can wait. But you could either finish off Turtle Rock there, or you could go to Swamp, because Swamp has a lot of items.
Neeeekolaz just pulled that hammer out of Ice Palace, but looks like he's gonna keep looking, make sure he's got everything that Ice Palace has to give.
Yeah, you're here. You might as well keep going and keep searching. Because if it's a pendant, you don't need to finish it. So, if you come out with all 3 items, that's the best case scenario.
Yeah, if Ether is in here, he'll be sitting pretty.
Yeah, if Ether is here, this is going to be really good for Neeeekolaz, because I don't think Cinaeth is going to go back to Ice Palace anytime soon. I think Cinaeth will go back to Pod before Ice Palace.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like he's going back up to go drop to that big chest. Oh, to get those upper chests.
Yeah, we're getting these hammerlock chests now. And then we'll probably see that big chest afterwards if these 2 are not items. All right, we got a big 20. And so we got 1 item left. There's Ether. So that is go mode for Cinaeth. So Cinaeth will be rushing on out of here, getting that small key. But so gold sword, red mail, 16 hearts, 4 bottles. I mean, you could ask for silvers, but do you really need them?
No, at this point, like, even somebody that's only had a couple of cracks at like Silverless Ganon, even someone that is having someone in their ear teaching them how to do Silverless Ganon on the fly would probably still stand a solid chance against Ganon in this state.
I mean, if you're doing the Overworld Glitches tournament, I would, obviously you can't assume anything, but I would say that it's very likely that you are familiar with how to do, silverless Ganon.
Oh yeah, that would certainly. One would hope that would have be in somebody's skill set.
Yeah, I mean, there's no skill requirement to join this tournament, but it's a fun tournament, and it's about learning. So our mentors can show all these mentees the ropes on not just Overworld Glitches themselves, but just the game in general.
Right, so we got a spicy little cold stare fight here. See if this full clearing Ice Palace pays off for him. Although we know there's nothing mission critical in here. But
yeah, the best Neeeekolaz could find here is silvers. But even then, that's not going to be really that much helpful to him.
Yeah, just at 300. One boss down, one boss loads in.
So again, there's really nothing in terms of tricks needed that can really hard lock Cinaeth. But if Cinaeth tries anything, that maybe wants to try to finish fast, or is nervous about something, and wants to thinks he needs to get them let out and try to trick that he's not familiar with or something. But you could finish without using glitches at this point, since you have all the equipment that you need. So there's no need to risk hard locking yourself doing any unfamiliar tricks. So I expect that Cinaeth will hold on to this lead, but you never know.
Oh yeah, anything can happen. And look, I think, did Neeeekolaz already check Lumberjack Ledge? I think he was double checking that, making sure he didn't look past something important. It's just the 3 stack of bombs there. Looks like we're gonna see. Are we gonna see Graveyard Ledge here, or is he gonna take a little auto walk somewhere else?
I believe this is an attempt at the King's Tomb jump here. And it does get that.
So he's about to grab this, grab a new sword.
That'll be a welcome addition to his arsenal.
No burb toss for Cinaeth. So all Cinaeth needs to do is get in here and poke out some eyeballs. So he's hoping for a Godmire here, which would be a big key in either on the bridge or in by the spike chest.
Yep, that is correct.
I suppose a strict Godmire would just be spike chest, but I think the bridge chest is close enough as well.
So with us knowing where everything is in terms of the booth, all the important stuff, except for maybe silvers. So out of all the stuff that we've seen today, how do you feel how do you feel about overworld glitches now? You say you're not too familiar, so is it seems pretty straight. Does it seem pretty straightforward, or just as someone that might be sharing some sentiment with the audience, what can you tell me after having watched this match here?
Well, after seeing like more of the whole picture of like how different tricks work, kind of nest into each other together, it's certainly does seem more straightforward than one would normally expect from just hearing glitchers talk to each other about like, oh yeah, you just do this and drink the bottle and go through the door and it's fine. It always feels like it's going to be a lot tighter or a lot more technical than the reality of the situation is. Like you just gotta wiggle yourself right just into that right spot and confuse the game enough to let it send you where you want to go.
Yep. And it is overall glitches. They seem intimidating, right? And they're not super easy, but it's not as hard as you may think. It just takes some practice and knowledge. So don't, if for anybody out there that's interested in learning about overworld glitches, don't let it intimidate you, because it's something that anybody with a little bit of practice can get down. So it's just it's a new knowledge set on top of the rando knowledge set.
Yeah, that's a vanilla Misery Mire big key. That's an oof. But yeah, it's having a toolbox at your disposal to do what you need to do. More so than in no glitches, it's just certain things you do in certain places. But with overworld glitches, it's more like here's a thing you can do, but depending on where you use it, you'll get to different places. You'll have different outside effects. There might be different concerns depending on where you land someplace versus from where you left. Yeah, it's just it's a toolbox that can expand as needed.
Yep. And the interesting thing about overworld glitches is the more tools that you have, the more routing options that you have. For instance, something we never saw this race was the Death Mountain Super Drop, which is one of my favorite glitches. And that's one way you can get from down from Death Mountain into the Dark World. Where you end up with that one is you end up near Swamp Palace. So you go from Death Mountain to Swamp Palace. So that's part of why they call it the Super Drop. But the other reason why they call it the Super Drop is, Link, when you're executing the glitch, falls down past the screen about 3 times. And so you just see Link falling through the screen multiple times, and it's one of the most hilarious looking glitches.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Maybe we'll see it later on in the tournament. Hey, there's our silvers on Vitreous.
Wow. Yeah, everything is falling into Cinaeth's lap here, so that's very good for Cinaeth. And Neeekolaz is not far behind. Gonna clear GT here. And gonna get the... Oh, wait. Neeekolaz does not have the bow. Has not gone to Eastern yet.
No, he hasn't.
So, yeah. That's quite unfortunate. But, all things considered, though, it's a lot to take in this mode as well. So you may not play at your fullest potential while you're trying to figure out all these glitches, it's like, how do I use all this stuff? You know?
Yeah. That's a great thing about the mentor format too, is that you can have a sounding board to be like, so do I do this here, or one bump up, one bump down? Is this the right time to do this, or do I risk leaving something behind if I do this now versus later?
So we have Cinaeth here doing the Turtle Rock mirror wrap. So we're just going to use the mirror on the same frame as we transition in that spot, and then jump down, and here we are at the laser bridge entrance already.
That looked like the totally normal laser bridge entrance.
Mirror wraps are another fun version of glitch, because the screen does get quite wacky sometimes when you're doing mirror wraps.
All right, we got Neeeekolaz heading into swamp, so he's about to come up with that ether.
Yeah, if there's one thing we've learned about Link to the Past, with all these glitches, is that the game cannot walk and chew bubblegum at the same time.
Definitely cannot.
So anytime you try to do two things at once, the game is just like, I am not having that.
Try to jump in the water and transition the screen at the same time. Oh, I guess you have flippers, otherwise you wouldn't be trying to do this. Here, enjoy your fake flipper. And we got Trinix phase 1 down.
Interestingly enough, though, Neeeekolaz will be getting ether here and can just go to Meyer and get the bow off of Vitreous. So
that'd be interesting. Yeah.
Will not need that bow that's in Eastern. Because I imagine that that is where Neeeekolaz will go after finding that ether, is straight to Meyer.
Yeah. Did he go all the way up GT to get that ice rod?
He did not have the bow, and
right.
so
he's gonna go Meyer, get the bow, then up to finish GT, probably.
Yeah, that would probably be the order of things. Now, if the runner, Mimic Clip is on the table as an option. That is something you'll see in more experienced runners, being able to Mimic Clip, being able to hover. In Overworld Glitches, hovering is more of the norm than the exception. You see a lot of people when they bust out a hover in no glitches, it's always a, kind of a like impressive spectacle, and people are just like, in awe. But in Overworld Glitches, there are a lot of the more experienced runners, can hover, so it's more of a normal thing there.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, time to go kill a pig.
Yep, we got gold swords, so this is going to be a real easy 1-on-1 here. And then with red mail, we can just tank all those fire bat hits. Not too many. I don't know if Cinaeth has a potion, so still got to be a little bit careful on that health.
Yeah, I think last I looked, he had a green and 2 golden bees and an empty. I'm not sure what he's used, if anything. I'm kind of sad he didn't bust out the golden bees for Mothula, but I know why that's also a bad idea.
Okay, Cinaeth gets that torch glitch. Does miss the first salvo of silvers, though, but no big deal. We got plenty of arrows. We got plenty of magic. We got plenty of time.
Yeah, just chill, do the thing, and the pig is dead. That's gonna get some GGs for Cinaeth and Orange, his mentor.
All right, and that is Cinaeth finishing with an official racetime.gg time of 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 22 seconds. Get your GGs in chat for Cinaeth. So we'll see if we can get Cinaeth in here for an interview, so that we can ask him about the race.
And compare some notes, see what we all learned. Meanwhile, we got some driver down action going on for Neeeekolaz.
Yep, and looks like Neeeekolaz is at least going to finish out Swamp Palace here. May choose to finish out the seed, so we'll be here to call those shots as they come. And we are joined by Cinaeth and their mentor, Orange. GG's to you both, and
These guys.
Thank you.
How do you feel about the first race?
Oh man, I was not sure, to be completely honest, that I was going to be able to do this.
You pulled it off just fine, my man. So what was the best thing that you learned to apply with the help of your mentor in this race versus other stuff that you've been handling, working together?
Yeah, I mean, I was just getting faster at doing item switches, getting faster at doing just getting faster at like figuring out what to do when, kind of thing. And my mentor told me before we joined that my glitch logic seems to be pretty good. It's just a matter of getting regular logic stuff more out of the way.
Yeah.
It can be surprising, perhaps to newer runners to Overworld Glitches, that you walk in, you think, oh man, I'm just gonna be doing all the glitches all the time. That's what this mode is for. Where no glitches, execution and knowledge is just as important, if not more, than knowing how to do the glitches. So yeah, that's definitely something that you also have to keep in mind, because there's times where you can do glitches and do some nice tricks, but maybe a no glitches approach is the better approach.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And there was a couple of times where I got turned around. Like I started going towards Misery Mire, like what Neek is doing right now, actually. And I was like, can you clip over to Misery Mire over here, or do you have to go through the top? And then we were both like, no, you have to go through the top. But it looks like Neek knows a method to do it this way.
Yeah,
Malmo has a better arsenal of clips into teleports.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about Overworld Glitches, at least for teleports, is there's so many applications of teleports that, remembering every single one, is quite the task, and because usually, once you get experienced and you learn, you have the ones that you use normally, and then you kind of just forget the other ones.
I think the biggest thing that I learned in this seed is do not forget about GT, because GT was holding some ugly items.
Oh yeah, definitely. We were like boggled when we saw that ice rod at the very last, like second to the last chest. That was awful.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
I made sure to point that out.
I mean, to be fair, you didn't go very long after finding the fire rod, because you went to Turtle Rock before you went to GT.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is, that was a fine play. You could either go to GT first or Turtle Rock first in that situation, because before you got that fire rod, you really only had access to 3 checks, so there wasn't much incentive to go there. So yeah, but definitely GT. I rarely have seen a seed that it doesn't have at least one progression item.
Yeah. And then, we were thinking, okay, where's our logic at? Let's check Smith Chain. Let's check, So I kept saying, let's go check King's Tomb, and we did King's Tomb late. We ended up doing Uncle late, which was a good thing because there ended up not being anything there.
It's not uncommon to see like an hour Uncle check.
Yeah, we did point that out. Because everybody waits for the mirror. They want to do Pyramid Fairy and the Front of Escape at the same time. So, yeah, that's definitely one of those things that gets held off in Overworld Glitches.
Yeah, and what PRD is saying in chat right now is exactly right. Is I have to get in my mind that in this mode, GT is really another Kakariko version of our checks.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up the fire rod into TR, because we were doing the Dark Death Mountain checks and we were like, okay, so when we do this, do we dip TR? Should we just stick to doing Catfish DMD? And then we find the fire rod and it's like, well, we're doing TR, no question.
Yep. Yeah, it is one of those things, especially with my mentor here, of when you find certain items in certain locations, do you immediately go to the next location, or it's like weighing your options depending on what items you're finding.
Yeah, but definitely that hammer in Ice Palace was quite the rude placement. That was one of the places that you were least incentivized to go to. So, I don't blame anyone for leaving that off as long as they did, because that's what's in any seed, hammer in Ice Palace is just one of the worst locations for it to be.
I felt like
we had logical access to Ice Palace for quite a while. It's just, it's still pendant Ice Palace. And we have to, we would have had to flip a wrap to get in if we didn't find the mitts.
Yeah, I was sitting here crossing my fingers that ether was not in the basement of Thieves Town.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, commiserating with that GT Big Key in Vanilla Spot and Misery Mire. I had my fingers crossed for a God Mire for you too, but that didn't work out either.
Yeah, this seed overall was rude, and I gotta tell Neek, if he ends up interviewing after me, tell him good game. And don't feel bad for taking second place, because this seed was very rude.
Oh, no question. This seed sucked.
Yep. Meanwhile, just to give a little bit of a update on Nicholas, he is in Misery Mire, gonna be headed towards Vitreous right now. Does not have the bow from Eastern, so we'll be picking up a bow off of Vitreous, interestingly enough. So Nicholas will probably end on just a regular bow and not Silver's. I bet that Silver's pickup, though, was a pretty nice find.
Oh my word! I was like, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
Ganon free now.
So the best kind of silvers are unavoidable silvers. When you're just outright forced to pick them up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. So, Cinaeth, let me ask you. I know you didn't really do anything that had much of a risk of a hard lock, but were you worried about? Were you nervous about doing any hard locks, or were you doing tricks that specifically had low chance of getting hard locked? What were your thoughts on that?
So most of the tricks, Orange and I before the race kind of went over all the tricks that I knew, and even where I was showing a couple more tricks that I didn't know, just to kind of do a quick, okay, this is what you need to do. And I think one of those that came, was there one? No, it was
One of them we went over before the race. We did end up doing in this match, and that was the magic bat clip.
Yep, it was a magic back clip. Yep. But other than that, most of the clips that I do, I'm pretty familiar with. I think the one that makes me the most nervous is going from Death Mountain in front of Old Man Cave and doing DMD right there. Because that one, if you don't dash up first into the wall, it will hard lock you.
Yeah.
So, what do you think is next on your list for tools to put in your toolbox? As far
Honestly,
as
yeah. Honestly, right now it's just trying to get more used to all the tricks that I do know and doing them a little bit faster. Because you probably saw in my race or in the race here that there was a couple that I kind of had to do a couple of tries, or I had to get a couple of tries to do them. And not only that, but there were times where I probably should have done something other than something else. It was very end of the run that I was starting to save and quit a lot to the same place just to get to where I was going.
Yeah, we didn't really use the flute all that much.
That's true.
we have Neeeekolaz taking down Vitreous and getting his bow. So he's probably headed to the upper part of GT next to go scoop up that ice rod and kill an Aghanim. He's a little railroaded at the moment, but that's such as the end of the seeds can be sometimes.
Mhm.
I saw in the credits that the mushroom was on pedestal.
Nice.
That's the best place for mushroom.
So, Cinaeth, do you have a favorite trick yet that you like to do?
Are we talking strictly overworld glitches or all glitches?
We could do all glitches, sure. But
well, if we're sticking with overworld glitches, I think my favorite trick to do is early silvers.
Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah,
Yep.
the Pyramid Fairy. I'm so used to calling it early silvers because when I started playing Zelda, I've been playing Link to the Past since it came out. I'm one of the original Super Nintendo players. But I got into doing speedruns and glitch logic last year. And the first thing I started teaching myself was the all dungeons restricted major glitches route. So I'm used to calling it early silvers from that.
I see. So you do have already some pre-knowledge of overworld glitches a little bit, and at least in terms of the vanilla game speedrun sense. There is some crossover, but different applications and in different spots.
Right, yeah. And I got into doing more difficult glitches very recently, actually, because I started learning to do no logic. So I went from regular logic to restricted major glitches to no logic back to overworld glitches.
Yep, sounds like you're going to be teaching us all some stuff soon here.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing that I was talking to the racing organizers about was, am I too knowledgeable to be in the race? And they were like, well, let's have you race and see how you do. Especially since I guess we needed enough racers to actually fill up the bracket. So it just made sense to have me race instead of try and mentor. But that's eventually what I want to do is I love playing the game, figuring out different glitches, and showing people how to play the game is definitely something that I enjoy doing.
Yeah, well, I feel like in my experience talking with my mentee and from what I've seen from other mentee mentor relationships is, this is centered around learning overworld glitches and the related routing and such, but it's also an opportunity to learn from people just general rando knowledge and general rando execution, things of that nature. So if there's something that you can learn from someone, I feel like there's definitely a good purpose for it.
Yeah, and I mean, even if I were to become a mentor sooner or later, that's not to say that I'm done learning or anything like that. I'm always looking for people that are looking at the game going, well, I do it this way. And I'm like, that actually is kind of interesting how you do it. Maybe I can use that in my own skill set. You never stop learning this game because there's so many different things you can do in it.
Orange, did you have any kind of learning experiences coming through this, like through Boots Camp and through this tournament?
I think I mostly learned where my specialties lie as a mentor, and that I generally know enough to get through Overworld Glitches seed and help people do it. But my real specialty is going to be helping people do the no glitches aspect. Because to do well in Overworld Glitches, you don't just need to know the glitches. You also need to know. You need to have a good, strong NMG base as well. Because once you're in a dungeon, you're not glitching anymore. You're doing the same NMG strats.
I think the biggest thing that scared me was having to do Misery Mire with Master Sword at the beginning when we were starting to do Misery Mire.
Here's another question, Cinaeth. How do you feel about potential Dark World Moon Pearls? Because those do crop up sometimes, and do you feel like you're prepared to go hunt down, the few checks that are in logic in the Dark World?
Yeah, so one of the things that I do know off the top of my head, even though it's kind of out of logic in this sense, is the Blue Potion YBA, or Fake Flute, as some people would call it. That is something that I'm familiar with enough, so I can go check Thieves Town, I can go check Hype Cave, so I can do a bunch of overworld checks. It's probably going to turn into, okay, which checks do I need to know how to do so that I can find my Moon Pearl?
Yeah, can I just add one thing here? I was really hoping our Moon Pearl would be in Dark World so that we actually could do Fake Flute. Because I would have been like, no, we're not doing a bunny DMD. We're just fake fluting.
Hey, you don't need a reason to fake flute other than convenience. That's a big thing in Overworld Glitches that, I don't think there's ever a time, where you can go wrong by fake fluting in the Dark World just to get around,
There's actually a clip that I did during this race, or I should say I didn't do during this race that I ended up failing. I was going to try and clip into Turtle Rock Laser Bridge really early on, but then the Lionel started hecking me up and not letting me in, so...
I had to specifically tell you to abort.
And
you did tell me in advance that you knew the mirrorless wrap, so I was like, okay, let you do it.
Yep.
Neeeekolaz just came up with his ice rod, so he's heading into Aga in a few short seconds.
Yeah, we were talking about ways to access Turtle Rock earlier on, and Lance had asked, if going in from the middle was the standard way that you would access Turtle Rock, and I said it depends on your skill set and knowledge, because there's mirrorless and mirror wrap, and if mirrorless, you'll probably try to go into from Laser Bridge because it's the most efficient way to do Turtle Rock if you have the cane. However, if you don't know Mirrorless or if you don't even know the Mirror Wrap, then you're going to go in from the middle, because that's just basically the only way you can do it. So, yeah.
Neeeekolaz just had a pretty good geometry quiz there with Aga 2. Had no trouble there.
Man. My geometry quiz on Aga 2 was terrible.
I feel you, buddy. I feel you.
Trigonometry's hard, okay?
He kept not putting himself, and then they desynced, and it was all firing at different times. I was like, all right.
So now all Neeeekolaz has to do is go and kill Trinex, and we'll see if Neeeekolaz does the Mirror Wrap or just goes in from the middle and goes down to the back through the maze. I was personally curious if this is just I don't. It's not that I'm expecting people to show off flashy stuff on stream, but it would be fun, to watch some of these mentees just show off, have a little fun. Now, did you ever discuss some of the flashy ways to get to Ganon, just for fun?
I mean, if I'm allowed, I could show you one right now.
The original plan was to have him flute to 5 and just run there.
I mean, yeah. I mean, any way to get to Ganon is fine. I know some people like to do the one where you jump from North Dark World area onto the pyramid, and that one's always a fun one to watch. But looks like Neeeekolaz is trying the Mirror Wrap here.
He's doing the safe version. That's good.
Yeah, so the deceptive thing about this Mirror Wrap is you actually want to not push your buttons at the same time. You actually have to push your direction and then the mirror a frame afterwards. It's weird. You're going to see my screen disappear for just a quick second here.
Oh, and Neeeekolaz did get that, so I don't think that was intended. But yeah, this is one of the things that you need to really look out for. That's a very good example of when things go wrong, you just need to save and quit. If you don't know what's going to happen and you messed up a clip, just don't do anything, because if you don't know where the transition lines are, you're going to hard lock.
Yeah, don't push your luck.
So I'm just curious, what am I allowed to show off? I don't want to show off something that's going to disqualify me.
Well, I mean, you're already finished, so
All right, we're going to show off.
I don't think there's anything that can hurt you.
We're going to show off something fun. I'm sure a lot of people know this trick. I don't know if my stream is still updating, though.
It may have been frozen on the end screen. They tend to do that on Restream, so it's possible that it did get frozen on the end screen. So, but either way, Neeeekolaz is trying to find his way, the best way into Turtle Rock here. Maybe getting some coaching from Malmo, his mentor, as to what the best course of action here is going to be.
Yeah, the Mirror Wrap definitely is the fastest way to do it. It's just a matter of, like I said, you have to kind of know your button presses there, because it's not a YBA. It's different.
Yeah, he's been pretty consistent with most of his clips and whatnot tonight. Just that one that's being a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely another thing. That I brought up is when it's totally different when you're in a race, as opposed to practice. There's more pressure. You're on restream. Some people may not handle that well. They may be self-conscious about stuff, especially if you're new and you're learning and you start messing up. That's definitely people that could get self-conscious about that. I'm not sure if Neeeekolaz is that type of person, but it's also a lot to concentrate on. You have your mentor there to help you keep everything in line, but you're sitting there thinking, okay, what am I supposed to use when? What's the best route? And suddenly some of your even some of your no glitches stuff goes out the window in terms of you drawing blanks and stuff, and what am I doing now?
Yep. And I probably said that more than once during the race with Orange. Like where Nico is right now, he's doing the exact same thing I was doing over here. Was, wait, how do I get through this maze again?
Yep.
Nerve-related
I
brain.
eventually settled for just calling out directions.
Yeah. To answer Creeple's message, yes, that does apply to the Ice Palace mirror rep as well. It's a weird functionality of mirror and screen transitions. Is for some reason they're slightly delayed versus doing a regular bottle transition. Definitely recommend just playing around with it in the practice act, because it's one thing to describe it and it's another thing to actually do it. Because it's different. It's not so different that you're like, oh, this is ridiculous.
All right, Neeeekolaz on the Trinex fight has tempered, so it shouldn't be too bad of a fight. Gonna go ahead and take care of the Ice Head first here, after getting a few swings in on the Firehead. Usually people will kill the Firehead first, but you know what? I mean, just because it activates first doesn't mean it has to die first.
Yeah, it was really lucky having Gold Sword here.
Oh yeah.
I typically kill the Ice one first if I don't have Gold Sword, but with Gold Sword it was just an easy 1-2 punch.
Yeah, that ice floor makes everything afterwards horrible.
Oh man, don't run out of magic, Nico. Oh man, just enough.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Nico will have to be careful here. Any hit will kill him, so...
This seems familiar. I have a strange sense of deja vu. Oof.
Oh yeah, didn't I have one boss fight where I literally finished with a quarter of a heart?
I think that was Mothula.
Yeah.
Moth.
Hey, half a heart is enough. It's plenty.
Yeah, as long as...
I kind of blame telling you that Master Sword spins did more damage than Fire Rod shots, which is true.
Which is true.
Oh, is he?
I just assumed you were going to Fire Rod him to death.
So, looking back on the seed,
looks like Neeeekolaz is leaving it there, and he's joining us. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Malmo. Hi, Neeeekolaz. How we doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Just watched a heck of a race. GG.
GG. Indeed.
GG,
Quite the
Nico.
speed. Yeah, good job, man. Nice work.
Okay, thanks. And I was telling these guys when I got in here, don't feel bad. This seed was terrible.
Yeah, pretty rough seed.
The Hammer and Ice Palace, a classic. Seed rolled by myself, of course. I always roll seeds
job,
like
Malmo.
this.
Good job.
I need to start expecting this from your seeds.
Orange, you roll the next seed, please.
Okay.
So, let me ask Nicholas. What did you think of the first race? In terms of putting all the knowledge that Malmo's been teaching you to work.
So in the beginning, you probably saw a whole lot of failed sword spins just because I'm not used to being watched by everyone. So I think that was the biggest struggle for me, is just getting all the techniques to actually work under pressure. But yeah, overall I had fun. It was once I kind of got 10 or 15 minutes into it, that kind of went away and it started to feel a little bit more natural. But yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, we were discussing that with Cinaeth and Orange. Some people may not be used to watching or being watched, and especially this may be the first time you're racing Overworld Glitches, and so there is that pressure element to where not just your glitch knowledge falls apart. Sometimes you just can't execute the glitches stuff, and so definitely understandable on that end.
Yeah, first Overworld Glitches race, first race in general, actually. So yeah, it's a lot to take in.
Well, you did very well. I mean,
Thanks.
You navigated around most of the glitches you did. I was actually really impressed as your execution of that bomb clip consistently, pretty much getting that on first try every time. So yeah,
Thanks.
that's definitely not an easy thing to do.
Can thank Malmo for that. She literally taught me that like an hour before the race.
Yeah, the timing on those bomb clips
Well done.
is tricky.
Thank you.
Hi.
Yeah, well, just to let you know on a couple of on one particular item location that you didn't get to, a potential first bow, what would be your silvers, was actually waiting for you in Eastern.
Eastern.
Oh no,
Did we forget Eastern?
it was a pendant, so we just didn't go in.
We did think about Eastern a few times, but I think at some point we just went to Ice.
Mhm.
Yes, Cinaeth ducked in there, got the bow. So that bow on Vitreous was silvers for him.
Gotcha. How early did he get the bow in Eastern?
It was probably past an hour 30.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fairly
Yeah.
late.
Okay.
We were in the
Yeah,
middle of last locating the hammer.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was. We thought about it earlier when Cinaeth was in Eastern, that the seed really just kind of gave all the things you need to just clear out Eastern. You had the lamp in Saha's closet, and then the bow in Eastern. So it was just like, hey, just go do Eastern. What's the problem? It's pen in Eastern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in the credits, we discovered that the mushroom was on the pedestal. So that was the drugs
Oh,
were
no.
safely stored away.
Nice.
It should have been a shovel.
No, we had that
I
a long
agree.
time ago.
And that was
Did you guys
a
not-
different. That was a weird play that I made too, because when we got the book, we went and read the tablet, and we're like, "Oh, the shovel's here. We'll just remember this for later because that's an extra check." And then we ended up getting the Master Sword. So I'm like, "All right." Next time I went up to Mountain, we ended up doing, I think it was Spectacle Rock, and then jumping right back down to Ether Tablet to grab it.
Nice.
We
Good
were
play.
always going to get it because you do Hera clip a lot in OWG.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes I feel like
Yep.
I use it too much, but that makes me feel a little better. So thank you.
I feel like on these Overworld Glitch races, we should have a Hera counter. How many times
Nice.
a runner enters Hera to
Nice.
fix the
I
camera?
like it.
How many times do you see the front door of Hera?
Right.
It's
That's
the only
fantastic.
mode where you septuple dip it.
And it
Well,
Chat,
if you
put your guesses in at the beginning of the seed. How many times are we seeing Hera? The closest
well,
gets
if you
a
count
scrub.
getting
That's
center
really
hold
funny.
by Moldorm as 2 falls, then we probably entered Hera less times than Cinaeth fell to Moldorm.
Mhm.
Oh my word, that Moldorm fight I'm not gonna live down, and that's something I need to work on right there.
Hey, you vindicated yourself the second time around.
You know,
I mean, to be fair, we were trying to do a fighter sword Moldorm, so that was probably going to happen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know, it's an interesting contrast though to Glitch's logic, where people try to avoid going to the mountain as much as possible, where in Overworld Glitch's logic, it's really more of a hub of activity because
Mhm.
you've got a lot of accessibility. You can jump down to Catfish and then go to Pod very
Mhm.
quickly. You can jump down to the normal dark or the North Dark World. You can do the super drop to get down to the swamp area. You can do the funny auto walk thing to get down to Witch. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of places at the mountain that get you to places in the in the lower light and dark world that you have countless mountain trips.
Mhm.
We love the mountain in OWG.
Sure do.
We can even skydive to swamp.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that either.
That's when you want to do the bomb clip, but you don't actually have a glove. So it's the
Interesting.
fastest way to swamp.
Interesting. Crazy stuff.
But we had mitts, so
We had mitts. We didn't have mitts.
I had
Ooh.
the first pair of mitts.
We had gloves.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
okay.
remember. I don't remember where I got mitts anymore, to be
mitts
honest.
were on the Armos nights.
Oh yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I believe the only things we had left were behind the bow.
And if you just gone straight to Pendant Eastern, you would have come
You
out of
could've.
there with both the bow, and that would be your first set of gloves.
Oh, wouldn't
I
that be
mean-
nice?
Wow.
I gotta
The first
admit, I was
15 minutes of the
kind
game.
of grateful to get those mitts because it meant we didn't have to do the flipper wrap, even if it meant having to do Smith Chain for, well, another sword.
Oh, is that
Oh, Lord.
where the butter sword was?
Vanilla on Smiths.
You know, it
Interesting.
was also vanilla. The Cane of Berna.
Oh, you guys did Spike Cave?
Yeah, you do it on the way to GT frequently.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't like Spike Cave because it takes forever to get into.
When we got Hammer, we just went straight to Swamp and hit go. Well, no. When we got Hammer, we went straight to GT and finished it, then went to Swamp and hit go mode.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll see this seed hammer was late, but a lot of times in routing GT, you'll see a lot of people do Spike Cave on the way to GT, especially if you're like Screen Wrapped or something. People just dip into Spike Cave real quick, get that, and then go down to GT or to clip up to GT. So Spike Cave is a little bit more common. But it definitely does take a lot of time too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was in full mud density mode.
We're hoping it's not Pendant Eastern and Pod because we didn't go there early mode.
Pod was bow locked.
It was. We actually did go into Pod. Learned potion glitch on the fly. I'd like to point that out.
Yep.
So
Which
we
is
had a
really
funny
cool.
incident
Oh, yeah,
with
we saw that.
Pod. As soon as we saw it was bow locked, Cinaeth immediately saved and quit out. I was like, no, we have a potion. Jeez, it's too late.
Yeah, well, luckily there was nothing there. There was nothing of value there. Now that I think about it, because you guys had pretty much everything that was of note. I can't even imagine what would be useful that would be in Pod at this point, because you had all 4 bottles,
Yes.
you had gold sword, you had silvers, you had red mail. Unless you want like mirror shield, I guess.
Yeah,
I wonder where that was.
And we know now where Blue Cane was. We know where the mushroom was. It's like that's just junk. All of Pod was junk.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
Neeeekolaz, I'm sorry. I asked Cinaeth the same thing. I'm going to ask you. What's the kind of like the best thing that you've learned either tonight or through your boots camp?
Oh boy, so many different things. I think tonight specifically is that clip out of the portal by Link's house. That's just so useful. Overall, probably Death Mountain Ascent and Descent. Those are just so very useful.
Nice. Yeah, that bomb clip in and out of around that portal, just dodging those pegs. Like, pegs, what pegs?
Yep,
Let's climb over
exactly.
this hill. It's fine.
So, do either of you runners have any final thoughts on either the seed or any new glitches that you're gonna be learning for the next race?
Go ahead.
I think for my next race, it's just getting more familiar with doing kind of the regular logic routing and getting more used to low equipment setups, because that's really the thing that scares me the most is low equipment areas.
Mhm.
And just redoing some of the clips again and just trying to get them more first try rather than seventh try Moldorm.
Hey, if it makes you feel better,
Sometimes he just hates you.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sometimes he just hates you.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
sometimes
for
it
sure.
does.
If it makes you feel better, I had a seed the other night that I also had 7 attempts on Moldorm. So pretty frustrating. Know that feel.
All right. Well, that is about it. So we do have another match tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. That'll be Professor Renderer, mentored by Michael K, versus Nobly the Foreign, mentored by Obscure Lifeform. So we've got some more OWG, mentor tournament action for you tomorrow. Any final thoughts from the mentors before we wrap it up here?
I just want to wish future racers good luck. If you guys want to stop in, I'll be here all night to help anyone out cramming for the exam.
Yeah, I
We're
wish
willing
everyone
to
luck
help
on the
you,
tournament.
We're willing to help you with whatever you need to make your races go as smoothly as possible.
Yep. And if you already have a mentor but they're busy or something, that doesn't mean you can't ask any other mentor for some help or anything like that. And anybody that wants to if you're not in the tournament and you still want to learn, I'm sure there will be plenty of people willing to help you if you stop by the Go Mode podcast Discord.
Don't be afraid to ask your opponent's mentor for help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's the one thing that is very clear about the glitchers community is that all you got to do is ask. No one's gonna laugh at you behind your back or anything like that because you don't know blankety blank. So it's like, okay, here, let's go jump on Discord stream. Let's bring the practice ROM up. Let's take a look at what I'm doing. Let me see what you're doing. It's super wide open. So don't be shy.
Yeah, and that's the first thing I was saying when I got in here at the beginning was I'm more excited to learn and to teach. So even if my opponent came up to me and was like, hey, do you know how to do this trick? I'd be more than happy to try and show them how to do it.
Same. Absolutely. Sorry if you can hear my dog in the background.
No worries.
Yep. All right. That just about wraps it up for us here. So thanks for hanging out with us and watching this great race and this exhibition of all these cool glitches. And we look forward to seeing a lot more Hyrule parkour coming forward.
Yeah. Shout outs to everybody that made this happen. To our runners, Cinaeth and Neeeekolaz, the mentors, Malmo and Orange, my co-comp, HxCJedders, our Restreamer Amarith, and I'm missing. I'm sorry, was Amarith also tracking? Oh no, minutes 27 was tracking. I'm sorry. Again, thank you very much for making my first comms experience a very good one. I appreciate everything I've learned about doing this today. I like you guys, and have a good one. Have a good rest of your evening.
Have a good one as well. I can't wait to go back and rewatch it and see how you guys commentated.
Same. I'm excited for that. Thanks,
I
everyone.
might do it. I might do it now, actually.
I'm kind of tempted to watch
You know
party.
Watch party. Yes, let's go.
Oh, no.
All right, we're going.
All right,
Okay.
bye.
Sure.
Take care.